election at the Chinua Achebe Leadership Forum at Yale University in the United States, pumped and glaringly indicated for all to see. And closely related to this, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in its latest outlook report for sub-Saharan Africa, has indicated that the broad-based economic reforms embarked upon by the President Bola Tinubu-led government have not made positive impact 18 months after commencement. Recall that President Tinubu removed subsidy on petrol on May 29, 2023, and thereafter floated the naira, which now goes for 1,700 to $1. The IMF report released on Friday categorically stated that Nigeria's reforms are failing to meet desired results. Presenting the report at the Lagos Business School, IMF Deputy Director Catherine Patilo stated that macroeconomic imbalances in the sub-Saharan region had started reducing with notable improvements in some countries. But sadly, she excluded Nigeria in the good news. Now, our major topic of discussion. Tonight, we focus on the just concluded Ondo Governorship election, one of the off-cycle elections conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, after the 2023 general elections, during which it declared Governor Loki Ayetadua as winner. The Ondo Governorship election was largely a two-horse race between the candidates of the ruling APC, Governor Ayetadua, and the main opposition PDP, Agbola Ajayi. As the APC governor's supporters roll out the drums to celebrate the victory, the PDP candidate has alleged compromise on the part of the election managed by the body in favor of the ruling APC. This is just as the observers reported that the election was characterized by late arrival of election materials at some polling units, general voter inducement, among other challenges. And tonight we ask, are stakeholders in the electoral process improving from past experiences, or they are collectively engaged in undermining democratic standards? What are the key takeaways from the Ondo exercise, and how will they shape the conduct of future elections? We are joined virtually by members of election monitoring teams of IAGA Africa, Sefia Bichi, and Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, Arms Free Ajanaku. They both join us live from Akure, the Ondo State capital. Gentlemen, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Arms Free, how are you?
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
All right. Viewers, after we take the take from Akure, we will dive into the intense show of power and influence for the control of the Nigeria's main opposition party, PDP, between former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and, of course, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. And in the studio here, we have, of course, yes, Ibrahim Rabiu, a political analyst who will help us shape the conversation along that line. Ibrahim, you're also welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's quickly go to Akure. I will start with, yes, Arms Free. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, so what is your take, the general conduct of the election? Of course, winner has been declared. Is it worth it? Is the election worth it?
Yes, every election in a democratic process is worth it because it provides an opportunity for the voters to go out there and demonstrate and make known their democratic choices. So to that extent, of course, the election was an opportunity for Ondo State voters to renew the mandate of the political leader of the state. But in terms of the outcomes of the election, in terms of how the election played out and all of that, there have been reviews around some positive aspects of the election, some not so positive aspect of the election. And when you look at the fact that it was a large violence-free election, not like there were no pockets of violence here and there, but not that you would say in elections in the past in Nigeria. So to that extent, that was one positive in the election. But when you also now look at INEC's role in the election, Largely, there was the arrival of materials. Yes, the beavers functionality was also on point to a large extent. But when it now comes to the drawback, this election has witnessed a serious decline in the participation. Talking about the voter turnout, there is serious issue of voter apathy, and of course, on the doorstep of the political actors, we can also spotlight the issue of commodification of the voting process, talking about the problem of vote buying and how it reared its head in this election. We saw voters, being paid 10,000, 3,000, different amounts of money. We saw sophisticated vote buying techniques being introduced by the political actors, and that is a dampener in what should have been a very credible democratic process. So, to that extent, we can say it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of some positives here. Then, of course, the uh, the issues around the integrity of the process and sanctity of the process, which was by and large undermined in several of the polling units by the activities of the political actors.
All right, yes, I'm still with you. I'm free before Safia joins the conversation. Are you surprised that the incumbent governor swept all the local government areas under APC? This was a man who, shortly after the demise of course, his governor at the time, to even get the buy-in of the APC was a very difficult situation for him. But here we are now, sweeping the whole of Ondo State. Are you surprised with that?
Yes, so in a sense, even in the pre-election period, when we conducted our information assessment and also the various focus group discussions that CDD organized to get a sense of what what is the electorate thinking about this process, and then what is the mood voters, and how have the voters kind of characterized what this process will be like. It was really very clear to us that the voters felt, oh, this guy is going to get 4 years, to do his own thing, and then probably they will think of another choice. So there was that, and so that also that there was very little energy in the election. It was not a competitive election, or even right from the pre-election period. It was not an election in which there were core governance issues on the debating stage. So it was more of election around the legacy of the former governor Akeredolu, late Akeredolu, and then who takes on and moves forward with that legacy. So the election was really more or less characterized by discussions around personalities and not really about the core governance issues in terms of what is facing the citizens. And we also saw that in this election, because the level of competition or competitiveness was not so keen, it we believe it now contributed to the level of voter apathy. By our own figures in CDD, we think the voter turnout was 24%. We had predicted in the pre-election period that it would be sub 30% voter turnout. And we also saw that, unfortunately, playing out on election day, meaning that between 2020 and the 2020 governorship election and the presidential election, and also the governorship election of 2024, you have actually seen a serious decline in the number of voters who are process. That also could be explained by the fact that there is disenchantment across the land because of the economic challenges that citizens are faced with. So those are for us some of the things that stood out. So I would say it's not surprising
All right.
that
All right.
the government has won This is where it also becomes interesting because the governor winning with the landslide, it means that the political party, AC was one of the parties that bought votes. They could have done without the vote buying. Without the vote buying, they were going to win anyway. So why did they still to buy votes, compromise the process in such a brazen that we saw? Of course, not only the APC that bought votes, parties were also involved in that bazaar, that brazen bazaar.
All right. Thank you, Armstrong. I'm free. I will still come back to you. But I have, of course, Ibrahim Radio in the studio. You've been nodding your head. Maybe you are in agreement with arms free. What will you say? I'm still asking question about the landslide by the governor. You know the trouble he had with the late Akeredolu, as if he will be impeached, right? Now Akeredolu, God in his mercy, took him away. And then this man, as if he will not be sworn in again. But he got it. But people were doubting whether the APC will grant the ticket to him. At the end of the day, he got it. Then this landslide, is it really a normal landslide, or is the normal, once you have power, especially in Nigeria, you are good to go?
No, it's not all about once you have power. In the game of politics, it's all about interest. And the interest is about when you play your card well, you win your game.
Okay.
You are getting me. Though loyalty depends, but ever since his boss passed away, he has been very, very punctual and very, very much sensitive to his mistakes. So he took his own dear time to see, okay, since I know I'll be coming back, what will I do to inherit this ticket? And he did those necessary things that could make him inherit
that is maybe continuing with some of the legacy projects of Akeredolu, as Amspree rightly said.
Yes, he did exactly that.
Meaning he must be a smart politician.
And in terms of the vote buying that he has been complaining, it's just a normal thing in Nigerian politics these days. You are getting me? Since he just said something that both parties are involved in it, and as you can see, you've seen the security agencies are taking their own necessary whatsoever.
They were able to intercept,
discharging their duty and all that there. So at the end of the whole thing, you see the law will take its place.
Now, but is it not a worrying thing that look at the bags of money intercepted by security operators? Now, why are we normalizing this deep-rooted corruption? And my fear is they are giving people 3,000, 5,000, which will not even buy you a decent plate of food.
Point of correction.
Yes.
Don't just say normalizing. You know, in Nigeria, we've gone to an extent of worshipping someone, thinking it's loyalty. You know, by the time, let's assume you are the one there now. By the time you see somebody supporting you, trying to see how he or she could overpleases you, then they go extra miles, trying to commit all these petty crimes now. By the time they commit the crimes, even you yourself, by the time you watch all these things, you know that they are trying to dent your own image.
Yeah.
You are getting, nobody is asking them to do this. Maybe there is a particular supporter by the side. He knows that he cannot deliver his own side. Okay, what do I do to make them believe up there that, yeah, I'm really doing something? You are getting me?
Yes.
That's where they call people and they go about buying all these votes. But I tell you, no true politician, no successful politician will go this low to dent his or her name in the name of trying to buy votes. They don't do that.
Unfortunately, yes. I'm free. Now, why is it that even the discussion revolved around, of course, the incumbent governor and then the leading opposition, Ajayi, when we have a number of political parties who have procured forms, they have campaigned in some way, but at the end of the day, everything narrowed to two political parties, and at the end of the whole process, even the PDP candidate was nowhere to be found. I mean, in terms of performance.
Yes, I think this is a very important question, but the much more fundamental question, which I would like to address from my friend and colleague in the studio, around the point he made about it's a normal thing in politics, and also trying to rationalize and probably excuse the political leaders I find we, from the point of view of civil society, we believe that that really explanation is not really acceptable.
But I think
It's not acceptable
Rabi is
because
taking the blame for
political culture can also change. Political culture can also evolve. And the problem with vote buying is that it dilutes the concept of democratic accountability to the point that the leader who gets elected through such a flawed process can now ride roughshod over the people with time because he would believe that the people have a price. And in the case of what we saw in Ondo, the price was very cheap. The price was very cheap and was actually very, very embarrassing for a state like Ondo with its sophistication, with the intellectual prowess of the people of that state, for you to have the kind of scale of vote buying that we saw on display that we observed. So there is no excuse, and which is why part of our recommendation, is that there is a need for drastic action, drastic intervention to shift the narrative away from this kind of political culture where we believe that they can commodify votes and turn votes into a commodity. So it is not a normal situation. It's an abnormal situation that we all have to collectively stamp our feet and ensure that we address it. Having said that, when it comes to the other points, the very fundamental point you raised about the political parties, one thing that came out when we did our information assessment, we went around, we also spoke to the less dominant political parties. And some of them actually told us that we have our manifesto, we are going on radio, we are talking to the people of the state, but we pray that the people will choose ideas over money. So this whole thing all goes back to the question of how commodification of the political process can also deny less cash carrying political parties, can also deny them that opportunity for voters to look their way. That is why it is a tooth and nail struggle for us to ensure that we address the question of commodification of the vote and also the brazen buying of votes, which is fast becoming a very sad part of our political culture.
All right, thank you. Humphrey, I will still come back to you to have your final take on the election. But in the meantime, we now have, of course, Safia Bichi from Yaga, Africa. Safia, welcome to the program.
Having me. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. And quickly, let me ask you this. Are you satisfied with the performance of the election and the emergence of the incumbent governor under the platform of APC as winner of the election?
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to first of all state that I'm indifferent about the match as the president, as governor of the state. That's one. Secondly, it's very interesting to mention that that yes, there's a significant improvement, especially when it comes to logistic management from INEC as compared to Edo State. But there are also some that we've seen in some other states, other aspects of the election. For instance, the vote buying that we saw that is becoming a political culture in our democratic democratic process. That's second. That's two. Second, it's about other aspects of the elections, especially the role of the parties and how they've also conducted themselves within the elections. You know, election is not the one thing. It's a cycle, and we've also assessed throughout the election cycle. The election campaigns were not issued, and when people begin to ask and talk about the decline in the voter turnout, I was personally not impressed with voter turnout. 2011, it has been no. The voter turnout has been below 40% in the state. At this time, we're having 24%, which shows that just less than a quarter of the registered voters in the state are the ones who decide on who to govern the state in the next 4 years. And this is something that we should, because our elections are judged, are concluded based on the number of people that turn out to vote. And this trend is this negative thing as citizens we should be worried about. We should be worried about. And the question is, what can we do differently? And this is where I'm also disappointed with the political parties in the elections. If political parties invest in nationality issues, personal show of force and others in terms of the campaign, there were no issue campaigns. And this also discourage voters from, because the question is, what are you selling to voters? It's not a clash of personality. What are you telling them? What are your policy ideas? We are experiencing economic recession in Nigeria, in the world, and this is, we know that is an impact of the COVID that happened just about 4 years ago. But the question is, what are politicians selling to citizens? What are they telling us they're going to do to address these issues that affect our life, affect our lives, as against talking about their personality and how and walking around sharing money. These are things we need to look at critically. This is the point that all stakeholders that are related to the elections, both non-state actors and state actors, need to stand on their feet to do a post-evaluation of these elections. We need to conduct a post-election audit, be it from civil society organization. Even political parties are supposed to invest. Those that won, that lose, to look at what have they done. Even those that emerge as winner, it was by what margin? It was how many, what amount of votes? If the turnout is up to 50%, emerge as winners in this election. So for me, it's a time for reflection, not a time to be unanimous in victory. It's a time for all voters to reflect on the outcome of this election. And because this democracy is here, we must do all things possible to defend this democracy and ensure that a democracy. Thank you.
Okay, I'm still sending this question to you. Yes, you have said you are worried, but who should we blame now? Because it's like there is a kind of comfort zone for various stakeholders to, become so powerful to perpetrate a lot of illegalities. And at the end of the day, you can see the result, poor, output from participation by the people. Now, how do we address this? Because there are so many laws in the land. What do we do?
All the stakeholders have their own share of the blame, and I'll start by allocating the blame to all of us as stakeholders. First of all, let me start with us that have the role to voter education. Have we done enough? Because now we should go beyond voter education to engage voter education to change the mindset of the citizens on issues of elections and issues on democratic processes and practices. We need to engage in political education, not that when it is 3 months to elections, 1 year to elections, we need to conduct some voter education. We need to expand our scope. And I know that for us in Yaga, we started that, that was while preparing for the general elections in 2022. We need to ensure and expand our scope in terms of political education. Then to political, what are they selling? They need to move away from this analytic and issue-based campaign. They also need to come up with solutions that are the things stopping the common man on the streets. Then going to themselves. Why are we engaging the process? Why are we not demanding accountability? And this election, whether you turn out to vote, somebody will decide on behalf of you. Why would we allow a few to decide on who governs us and who make policies that affect the life of our lives and the life of our loved ones, our children, our generation, and whatever we talk about? And INEC also, on the other hand, I've heard allegations that, I've not heard this to scientific tests. There's also the conversation around lack of electoral empire. INEC will also be more proactive to build citizens' confidence in the process. We know that they've done management ahead of the elections. They promised us that they're going to do better than Edo. And personally, I can say that they've done better than Edo. But the commission needs to do well, because it's a history, and citizens are beginning to lose interest, not just in the commission, in all political institutions. So both state level, federal level, governance at those levels, people need to start feeling the impact of governance.
Yeah.
so that we will engage the process. But again, if that is not happening, as citizens, we have the responsibility to ensure that whatever we are doing, or whoever is being elected into position, is held to account for whatever promises they have or whatever oath of office they've taken.
All right. Yes. Let me come to you, of course, Ibrahim. Are you worried? Some people are alleging that politicians are now using hunger as a weapon to coerce people into submission, because 3,000.
When they said that politicians are using hungers to coerce people into submission, I don't see that as true. You see, when they say,
but if somebody is not hungry, why will I take 3,000 to mortgage 4 years?
No. If you're using that one to judge, automatically then you are telling me that maybe hunger will just let the whole Nigerians to go into stealing. You are getting my point.
So there is conscience.
There is conscience, because if you see automatically what is happening here, like I told you just now, I said all these things are done by the foot soldiers. Maybe someone will be by the corner there. They will go and tell you. They'll tell you all sorts of stories.
But foot soldiers will not operate in isolation.
Let me tell you what these people do.
Yeah.
They will come and tell you, once you're an aspirant, they will tell you, oh, I will deliver you. Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm almighty this from my word. But at the end of the whole, you will discover that just come on a single vote, they cannot bring for you from their ward. So these people now go down to their ward to see that they do everything humanly possible to bring these things to you. So automatically, if you and I decide to say we want to stop these things, we'll stop it.
But a hungry person, Ibrahim, is actually not in his right.
When you say hunger will make you to commit crime, I don't see that as fact. You are getting it, because generally when you're trying to bring this issue of hunger to the land, automatically it's a worldly thing now. You are getting me? There is an economic crisis in the world entirely, not even Nigeria.
Some believe that Nigeria is worse, because in some places you can see
it might be worse. You are getting me? But when you see it as if that of Nigeria is a different thing, automatically you don't believe in destiny.
All right, let me go to, yes, I'm free. Now over to you. What about this fear that, of course, the promise made by APC, symbolized by former Kano State Governor, that they will take over Southwest and South gradually. Is that really a true prophecy coming to fruition?
Yes. So as people that are committed to democracy and the democratic, this whole idea of power grabbing, in a way that does not leave room for healthy competition with other elements in the political process, would not augur well for democracy. And this whole declaration of, oh, we're going to win it all, this whole understanding towards pushing the country towards a direction of a one-party state is not democratic. Yes, I'm not against anybody trying to win election as much as they can, but if they do that within the ambit of the rules of the game, then of course that is welcome. But where it is done through acts of subterfuge, through acts of subversion, like the brazen large-scale vote buying we saw in this election we observed, then it becomes something that would not augur well at democracy. But having said that, I think we must return to that argument on who is responsible for the kind of brazen vote buying and the kind of bazaar we are seeing our electoral process turn into. Of course, we cannot take away the spotlight from the political leaders. And our friend in the studio seems to be arguing that no, it's not the political leaders that are responsible. And then he's saying that probably they are just overzealous supporters who would want to. How many supporters can muster the level of cash, the level of monies that we are seeing being used to buy votes that, like the ones we are seeing? How many supporters can make, the magnitude of transfers we saw them making on the field? How many of them can give coupon to voters and say, come and meet us where we have, cash away to give you for voting for us? And then there's the more important point. If political leaders truly do not believe in this kind of electoral criminality we are seeing on the electoral, how come they don't come out to condemn? They don't come out to condemn this kind of behavior and distance themselves and send out clear message to the so-called supporter in quotes doing this? How come they don't do that? So these are very important questions for us to know that what we currently are experiencing is a system, and the effect of this system is doing serious damage to our democratic process. And when we consider the fact Nigeria is champion of democracy in the West Africa sub-region, Nigeria is claiming to be a beacon of democracy in the continent of Africa. This is not what we want to advertise to the world. This is not the kind of democracy we want to showcase to the world as the giant in quotes of Africa. So we need to all join hands together collectively. I believe in what Sifu said about the need for collective action, and not just collective action, but drastic action. So we make it clear that if we must salvage democracy, if people must re-engage, because people are disengaging from the democracy, and you saw that, you can see that in the turnout figures that we recorded in this Ondo election. So the people are getting disenchanted, they are disconnected from democracy, and the moment they disconnect completely, that is the collapse of democracy, God forbid, and which is why we must not accuse any form of bad behavior when it comes to the electoral process.
Thank you very much, Ausfree Ajanaku from Center for Democracy and Development, for your informed perspective on this. We wish you safe return to Abuja as we look to host you in the studio to chat the way forward. Bye-bye for now.
All right, thank you.
All right, and then quickly, Sophia, let me have your final take on this. What lessons can we learn so that we let you go also as we await your arrival in Abuja? What lessons should we learn from Ondo so that when we go to another round of cycle election, we can correct them?
I think the lessons we've learned, this is a sub lesson that we're talking about. Right? So that's aside the vote buying another malfunction, other infraction that we've seen is that there seems to be an consensus, and that's why even the politicians or the political parties did not really work much for them. Everybody has reported, anybody that has assessed the pre-election environment will tell you that election campaign were relatively calm, and we believe that there's some level of consensus. And what we mean by that is that a lot of people think, oh, since he's coming for another 4 years, let's just allow him to go. We need to move away from that. People need to work for their position. As citizens, we need to ensure that we do not give up in this democratic process. We cannot leave it for just a few. Since we're interested in our democracy, election is the bedrock to democracy, and we cannot leave it in of the few. The country belongs to all of us. It is for our children. We need to work hard and ensure that the right people are there. But I would like to also mention that part of the problems and challenges we have that is also contributing to this low voter turnout is the issue around popular candidates. There's also a question whether the candidates are popular or unpopular, and this is because we do not have independent candidacy. This is something we can also explore in the electoral reform process to see if we can include independent candidacy, because most of the times products from party primaries are products that are the only options we have to boycott the elections. Perhaps independent candidacy will address this issue, and on the other hand, political parties should probably do and make their political primaries more democratic to ensure that popular candidates emerges as candidates of the elections. I'm not saying that these candidates are not popular, but we're looking at the general factors that could lead to the constant decline we're seeing in this voter turn when it comes to voter turnout in elections.
Thank you very much. We have more time, but then when you return to Abuja, we thank you for your informed perspective on this, and we wish you all the best. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Yes, that was Safia Bichi from Yaga Africa, right away from on the stage. We will now delve deeply into the power tussle between Atiku Abubakar and Wike, of course, with exactly. Exactly. Yes, with Ibrahim here, Rabiu in the studio. Yes, but then viewers will allow one or two people to call and then share their own thoughts on some of these issues we have raised as we round up the program in the next 12 minutes. Yes. Now, you can see even Ondo, but we are rounding up the week. We know that Nigeria, a lot of activities. By Monday, so many new things will now emerge. But are you not worried? The power tussle between Wike and Atiku. Don't you think Wike should leave the PDP for Atiku and the rest to have their way?
Why will he leave the PDP? Where was Atiku when Wike single-handedly picked the PDP from the gutter? You see, like I'm always telling people, when it comes to politics, it's a very sensitive game. We all know it's a game of interest. You are getting me? Atiku was busy gallivanting because he's just self-centered and very, very selfish.
Allegedly,
yes, thank you very much.
We always have this debate with you when we bring you to the studio. Yes.
And he's just eager to get that power to himself. When you tell Atiku today that there is a vacant ticket at Labour Party, he goes to Labour Party. When you tell him, okay, come to APC, we're giving you a ticket, he goes to APC. Where was Atiku when Wike was single-handedly sponsoring the PDP?
But is that not an indictment? I mean, on Wike, now telling Atiku to even forget about 2027, meaning that he's going to, as he did for Tinubu 2023, he's going to do the same thing 2027.
Listen to me. It's not an indictment. In politics, you are entitled to your opinion. It's simple as ABCD. Like I told you earlier, I said it's a game. Wike single-handedly sponsored for the PDP, and automatically, if you ask me any question, I will tell you Wike has not gained anything from what he spent on PDP.
It's not, I think it's about service, but he has gotten that from APC now.
No, what he did for the APC, you are getting me, is he has not even done quarter. In fact, what he gained from the APC, he has not even gained quarter of it.
After serving for 8 years as governor of
it doesn't matter.
Rivers State.
It doesn't matter.
Ibrahim,
who helped him to become the governor?
Okay, but are you not worried with the diminishing fortune of the PDP? Now, look at Ondo, for instance. We just finished, interaction around what happened. You see, in Ondo, PDP nowhere to be found.
You see, I'm telling you today, not really an indictment? I'm telling you today that if the PDP are not selfish, you are getting me, they should play justice to Nyesom Wike. There's always nemesis.
You mean it is nemesis that is catching up with?
Yes, it is nemesis.
Somebody will ask whether you're a member of a PDP.
No, I am not the member of a PDP. You know me, I'm not the member of a PDP.
That is why we brought you, thinking that...
I'm just trying to be sincere.
Okay.
When you see, let me tell you something. This is exactly what is affecting the Nigerian youths of today. When you are not sincere to anything, you have problems. You are getting me? I don't have anything with Wike. We are not from same party with him. But when we want to be sincere, you are getting me? By the time PDP don't play justice to Wike, automatically that nemesis will befall on them.
We deliberately actually merge these two topics together because of the outcome from Ondo. Yes.
Let me give you a clear example. When you see anybody fighting Wike in the PDP, they have a disagreement. That person has gone to Wike for 1 or 2 favors and he declined for that favor, and all of a sudden he turns a bad person. You see, lately there's this barrister Deji that called me. He came on air and was thank you very much. He came on air and was just ranting, shouting, insulting Wike here and there. Okay, I kept quiet. I was telling people, I said, oh, no problem, una go here soon. All of a sudden, Wike just exposed. He was following Wike for Wike to support him.
Yes.
And when Wike refused, automatically Wike becomes the bad person.
All right, viewers, please call the numbers displayed on your screen to comment on this problem, as I said earlier, we deliberately put the crisis in the PDP side by side with the outcome of the Ondo governorship election as a wake-up call to the existential problem of party politics in Nigeria. APC won in Kogi, now Edo, right? And now
in Ondo.
In Ondo, yes.
Yes.
And then we are moving to other off-cycle elections. Contribute, and maybe we will have a solution to the problem. Ibrahim, now, as I said, you heard Safia saying maybe we should even have room for independent candidacy. But I think we have quite a number of political parties.
Yes.
18 or thereabout that are fully registered.
That's why when she was saying that, I was just busy laughing. If you look at my face, I was smiling.
Yes, you are smiling. But maybe she has, as an NGO person, she has her reason.
We have more than enough political parties in Nigeria. You are getting my point.
So it's not about the political party attitude that is killing the polity.
It's the Nigerians' mindset.
All right. Before you explain the Nigerian mindset, we have our first caller. Hello and welcome to the program. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Who is on the line?
This is Mr. Yusuf. I'm calling you from Delta State.
From Delta, all the way from Delta. Welcome to the program, Yusuf.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what is your take?
Okay, my take is this. PDP as a political party, the major problem they have seems to be the Atiku Abubakar, who does not want to give room for others to contest for the president of the country. It's so obvious you've been contesting severally and you've lost severally. Why not give room for others? 2015, the build-up to 2015 election, we all can remember how he betrayed the party. If he was patient that time, by now, Atiku Abubakar would have been the president. Jonathan drove all the way to his house to plead with him, to support him, but refused in 2014. If he was patient, that would have been president. Today he is not. He should allow others who were there. Look at the election they just did in Ondo State. If it was when Wike was still running the party, Wike would have been in Ondo State. Atiku Abubakar is in Kano, in a wedding party at in Kano. You are not here to show leadership, but when it's time for election, you will come out and take authority, you take position. So what we are saying is he should give chance to those who are ready to take charge of their affairs. It's not only during election you come out. Running of a political affair is a long-term game. We see the current president that he has been doing it over the years. Even when he was sidelined by the ex-president Muhammadu Buhari, when they asked him if he was going to lead APC, then what he said was, I cannot destroy a house which I built by myself. So what we are saying is, Atiku Abubakar, if he's not ready to run PDP, then he should leave PDP for those who are willing to run PDP. Thank you very much.
All right, Yusuf, all the way from Delta. I will have asked him whether the failure of Atiku to be in Ondo might have contributed to the dismal performance of the party. But now, assuming Atiku said, okay, go with your party, do you think Wike will properly give direction to PDP?
I bet you today that if the PDP will allow Nyesom Wike to handle the party the way he has invested all his seriousness to the party, I bet you the PDP would have gotten to the promised land by
all right, we have another caller. Hello, welcome to the program. Yes, I will still come to you, Ibrahim. You have made a very pertinent point there. Yes. Hello? Yes, who's on the line?
It's Abu Nathaniel. I'm calling from Niger State.
From Niger State. Okay, what is your take about the crisis in the PDP or the Ondo election? Yeah.
Yes, sir. The problem is Atiku no have patience. Look at Tinubu now. Tinubu is working for Buhari since many years ago because he became a president. Atiku was relief.
Okay, hello? Yes, go ahead.
Atiku needs to be patient and support someone to take that position. When the person leaves the position, you leave.
Yes, we lost Abubakar, who called from Niger, but I think the point he's made. I wish somebody from Atiku side will call to defend their principle. He said that Atiku isn't impatient. But what kind of patience? Since 2007, right?
From the beginning of my explanation, I said something. I said he is too desperate for the
So
power.
what kind of desperation are you talking
Okay,
about?
fine.
I'm playing the devil.
Do you know initially he
yes.
left the PDP and came
Of
back?
course, 2007,
yes,
I
and
know.
came back to APC to contest with President Muhammadu Buhari, and he lost. He still returned back to the PDP. And when he was doing all this gallivanting here and there,
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yes,
because many politicians, there are some who even change more than five political parties. Yes.
Yes, some Wike was busy nursing this party to see how he can remove this party from where these top-ranking politicians has dumped the party. Yes, Wike did this whole thing single-handedly. Then all of a sudden, after he has revived the party and they are coming to come and pick up the glory from nowhere, that's impossible.
Why do you think key politicians dump Ondo for Kano for the wedding of Concourse, who is an NNPP member, of course? But before you answer, let me pick the last caller and then come back to you. Yes. Hello, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, who is on the line?
This is Constance citizen from Bayelsa State.
From Delta.
Yes.
You are welcome to the program. Okay, let's have your take.
State.
Why the crisis in PD?
Yes. Okay. You see, the issue there, like what you people are just discussing, the political party is just like personal business center. It's just like what that guy is saying that Wike single-handedly sponsored. You know, those languages, they are very annoying and irritating.
Okay.
Honestly, they are not talking to, considering the people they want to rule. Okay, all these things, where has he helped the nation? No, where has he helped the nation? All these people who are talking, when that man is talking, it's annoying me. When he says Wike is this,
Ibrahim, you're making somebody angry. Yes. Okay.
Business organization.
His opinion.
Yes.
That is not a forum through which somebody comes to rule the nation. If we are doing sincere voting in this nation, those people who are there congratulating shouldn't win.
Okay, then who will save the, finally from you, who will save the life of PDP? Yes.
What is the benefit you are getting from this?
Okay, who will save the PDP? This should be in less than 1 minute, please. Yes.
Look at the country, we're getting rotten. People are suffering. What is the benefit? All this, okay, look at them shaking themselves. If we really do sincere vote in this country, many of them, they are congratulated, shouldn't win.
Okay, okay.
Sincere voting. The problem we have in this country, which I am just saying that God will help us, you see the security agents and what? The tribunal judges. These are the people that should make sure things are done well. That no matter what the politicians do, if the security agents and the judges stand their ground, we will get the right person to be in power.
All right, thank you very much.
The politicians mess themselves up and get there. But it's the judges that will say no. The security agents will say no. But these two people are folding our hands. They are folding our hands.
All right.
So what is happening now is that people will now commit crime by election. Now when they go to court, the court will validate those nonsense. That's why we are seeing. That's why they are both to tell you go to court.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Nothing that happen in this country.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you will go, they are doing election. People will share money and they will see those things. Nobody will take.
All right, thank you.
Collecting the result and everything.
Thank you very much.
And yet, they will validate if you go to court.
Thank you.
These are the problem.
All right.
Are suffering.
Thank you. Thank you.
These are suffering. And you're talking about Wike.
All right.
Is it his business center?
We will get you another time. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have run out of time. Yes. Ibrahim, please, I give you just less than 30 seconds because we have run out of time.
It's okay.
Yes, to answer, the other fellow said he's actually angry with you that you're talking about Wike bankrolling PDP. It shouldn't be so. And then I asked you the other question before.
Let me tell you something. You see, there's a clear picture on ground, and I talk with examples.
Yes.
You are getting me?
Yes.
Wike is a very serious
But is it
person.
an ideal situation for one person to fund a political party?
That is what I'm telling you. We know it's not an ideal, but by the time others are not willing to invest,
Somebody must do it.
You are getting me?
Okay,
So
that is it.
He knows this party is the party he belongs to. He cannot go to any other party. He single-handedly invested in this party. Let me give you a clear example.
We don't have, I just want you to round up.
Back
Yes.
then, if anybody is coming for governor, they don't have any other place. Before you know, their flight is going to Rivers.
All right, thank you very much,
So today now,
Ibrahim.
Wike will now be the person that they will now start ranting on that Wike this, Wike that. See, Wike, if it is Wike, as I'm talking to you, he will not leave that elections
All right.
wedding.
Thank
he
you.
won't do that.
All right, Ibrahim Rabiu.
You are getting me.
Thank you for coming to the program.
The seriousness
We'll
of
still
Wike
bring you to the
that of
newsroom
Atiku.
to discuss this. Yes, thank you very much for coming. Yes, viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We earlier had, of course, Safia Bichi from Yaga Africa and Arms Free Ajanaku from Center for Democracy and Development. And of course, here in the studio, Ibrahim Rabi. We discuss Ondo and then the crisis in the PDP. Join us next week for more interesting packages of Sunday politics and daily politics. However, for now, I'm Hamza Idris.